Hey photographers, Charles Lewis here. Welcome to this event. What we're going to talk about today is really good stuff. I just don't know how to stress it enough. And joining me today is my son and business partner, Mr. Todd Lewis. Hi, Todd.
Hello, everyone. And more important than good stuff is that it's going to be very powerful for making 2025, no joke, your best year ever in photography. Regardless of what you hear in the industry, what you hear from other people, what you hear from other photographers, things like that, the photography industry is still thriving. There are still thousands upon thousands of people in your area that want desperately what it is you do and are willing to invest good sums of money for what you do. Do not discount the perceived value of what it is you do among your target market clients. So go into this with an open mind, and I promise you we're going to give you things that have the potential, no joke, to make this year, 2025, your best year ever.
Absolutely. Took us years and years to figure this stuff out, and we're going to share it with you right now. And also, I want to introduce our special guest, Mr. Tom Morelli from Maine, the great state of Maine. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Chuck. Is this the point where I sing in the year 2025? No, never mind. We'll come back in 200 years and do that one. But hi, Chuck. Hi, Todd. And hello, everybody. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great.
Go ahead,
It's great to have you on here, Tom. We appreciate you taking time away from your busy photography business to share the things that you're going to be sharing, in addition to the things that my dad and I are going to be sharing with all of the photographers that are on here with us live today. In fact, I want to call out a few of them now. I know you're there because I can see the list. And I want to say a quick hi to some people that I know and have spoken with personally before that are on here that I haven't gotten to speak to in just a little while. Chris Waldron. Hello, Chris.
Hey,
great
Chris.
to have you on here. Hello, Gary Hammond. Great to have you on here as well. Linda Buchanan. Hello, Linda. Peter Seawright. Hello, Peter.
Hey.
Please give our best to Lou as well. Maybe she's sitting right there next to you, watching and listening as well. And of course, I gotta round this out by saying a big shout out and a hello to Shirley Keene. Shirley, hello. It is great to have you on here. Shirley is. This wouldn't be a live event without Shirley on it. She's on every single thing we do. And I happen to know, I don't think Shirley will mind me sharing this, she's dealing with a little bit of a medical issue, nothing horribly serious, but she's going through a little bit of a thing now that she's having to have some things taken care of, and it's fine. But the fact that you're here, despite, having to deal with these other things, shows, again, your dedication to your photography business, to your clients, and what this means to you. So that's great. Hello to Todd Gomes as well. Great to have you here. And please, everyone, remember, this is a live event. You have the opportunity to submit questions to us. You can type a question in the questions box of the GoToWebinar control panel, which should be on the right-hand side of your screen, or it might be around the border, depending on what device you're on. Open that up, type a question to us, and we will get to those questions at the end of the event. Maybe we'll take some during the event if we have time. We've got a lot to cover, so we may just answer those questions during the Q&A at the end. But our goal is to answer every single question that comes in. Do not wait to submit your question. The sooner you submit your question, the better chance you have of having it answered if we're running long, because we're going to probably answer them in the order they come in. Dad, you were going to say something?
Yeah. Peter Seawright, of course, says hello and Happy New Year. And Chris Waldron says Happy New Year, fellows. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
And right back at you.
Yeah, you bet. It's great to have you all here, and a Happy New Year to everyone. It's still early January. We can still say that. I'm going to say it through April. So a quick something you may be wondering is, why are we doing this event and why are we doing it right now? Well, first of all, our goal here today is to give you the roadmap, to give you the guidelines of what to do starting right now in January of 2025. You may have started the New Year off, as a lot of people do, by setting a New Year's resolution. Hey, I'm going to pay more attention to the business side of my business. I'm going to realize how important that part is in addition to the quality of my photography, and that starts right today. The other reason we're doing this now is because January, February, March, depending on where you live in the world, where you live in the country to varying degrees, tend to be a slightly slower time for photographers, for professional photographers, which is a great thing. It does not have to be a super slow time, as Tom can probably attest to and we'll probably talk about at points throughout this event. But because it might be a little slower than typical, it gives you time to start doing the things you know you should be doing, so that come February, March, April, going through the rest of the year, you are booked solid. In fact, Tom, I want to pose that to you first. We spoke considerably before this event in preparation for this, and you mentioned that you are already, I don't know if you're booked fully or almost booked fully all the way through January and most of February. Is that correct?
Yeah, I decided to run some promotions in addition to my baby plan, which kind of runs year round anyway. That's sort of the baseline that goes on January, February, March, all through the year, about the same numbers because of the births that run through the year. But I also love photographing 1-year-olds. It's sort of a landmark where people invest in wall portraits more often. If it's an age, that's 1-year-olds, a big one. So I invited people. I just ran a promotion where we invited folks to come in January and February, 1-year-old only, single child, real easy session for me, but always an investment for the people. That works out great for both of us. And that pretty much filled January quickly, and February is almost there. I've got a few dates left for that, but between that and my regular clientele for baby plans, pretty much we're looking at March, maybe when the daffodils start to come up, as the next time I have to start looking toward filling. You're always looking ahead. Don't think about marketing. Well, we'll talk a little bit about this, but not for tomorrow. You need to be thinking ahead with these things too, and you'll find out your appointment book is magically filling up.
Yeah, don't market today for what you want tomorrow. Market today for what you want in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, 2 months, 3 months, right? Depending on the marketing you're doing. There is some that you can do to get business coming in relatively quickly. We will definitely be talking about that very early on in this program today. But you need to start thinking further down the tunnel. And that's great. Congratulations on being so booked up during, again, when most photographers are going, I'd be happy to have 2 or 3 clients right now. And that's great. And again, a testament to the fact that Tom Morelli understands more than most people the importance of consistent and congruent, emotionally driven marketing. That's right. Something you're going to hear over and over again today, because that's what connects to that target market that we mentioned at the beginning. That if you're worrying that there aren't enough people out there, don't worry about that. They're out there. Your target market is out there. They want a professional photographer. They don't care what their Uncle John can do with his fancy new iPhone. They want somebody who understands what makes a great photograph great, and it goes well beyond the megapixels of the camera. So tune in. This is going to be very valuable stuff for all of you. Now, you all should be asking a question. Tom just alluded to the answer, which is, why should you listen to us? Well, Tom is already having an incredibly successful beginning to 2025. So, hey, you want to know how to make 2025 great? Then Tom is a place to start, because he's already got a great 2025 happening. But we're also going to talk about what was 2024 like as a year, over the course of the whole year. So that's why you should be listening to us. There's some samples of both Tom's and my dad's work. You don't see any of my work up there, probably because, well, you can probably see that mess of cables and stuff behind me there. In addition to doing the marketing and so forth for our business, and doing the teaching and training along with my dad and with Tom, I'm also a cinematographer and a video creator. That's where my passion lies outside of the photography world. That's what all of that garbage is over there. And frankly, to be honest with you, I can't create photographs as beautiful as these two guys do. So that's why I focus on the business side. That's where my passion and education and frankly, it's what I feel I'm best at. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like that's where my areas of expertise are. So in addition to the photography, you should be listening to us because of all of this stuff. The marketing that is done. This is marketing from over the last 5-10 years, just some quick examples of stuff that that Tom has done things that we put out there for other photographers who study with us to do. This is the stuff that really works, and it's done sometimes through the mail, but oftentimes done completely digitally as well. So
And
that's
Todd,
why.
go ahead, finish your sentence. I'm
Nope,
sorry.
nope, you go ahead.
I thought you were at a stopping point. I just want to say what a great asset you have been to my business, Todd. I mean, I think back to when you started, when you were still in high school and you were working with us and you were numbering negatives. I don't know if anybody knows what negatives are, but if we're numbering negatives and all that stuff, and holy smokes, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that he was in on every marketing meeting. Then he started taking over the marketing. Then he decided to stay a while because he was really enjoying it. And then he stayed. Now he's been there over more than 30 years of
38
marketing.
years, I think now.
Oh no, not really
My
that
goodness.
many.
Well, thank
Wow.
you for that. I appreciate that very
And
much.
it's what you know. I mean, you know everything there is. I mean, Jesus. But it sounds bad, but gee, this really is the truth. That he has studied and worked with fabulously famous marketing people all over the world. He's applied it to our photography business. He's now in the consulting. He's been doing consulting. How many years have you been consulting with me with other photographers?
Oh, 15?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the one-on-one consulting. As far as teaching classes and so forth, it's been longer than that.
Yeah, right on. So
well, thank you. I appreciate
you to
that
know.
very much. And the key here is the people that I've studied with are people both in the photographic industry and outside the photographic industry. And marketing is my passion. I love marketing. I'm one of those freakish people. So that's why I'm here today. I don't want to spend a lot more time on that, but I appreciate that very much. And that's why you should be listening to what I have to say, because for me, it's not about taking pretty photographs. That's this guy. Oh, I don't know where they are on your screen. That's these guys' job, wherever they are. My job is to make sure that their target market knows about it, that their target market is energized and emotionally connected. That's what my job is. And in addition to me, Tom and my dad do this extraordinarily well also. Here's some images of Tom's studio space, which is actually an extension of his home space, which is great. So if you're wondering, hey, will this stuff apply to me? I don't have a storefront studio. I'm not in a retail space, anything like that. I'm working out of my home. Well, absolutely it will, because Tom is living proof of that. And here is an example. Oh, no, I don't have an example of ours up there. I thought I was going to put it up there, but I cut it for time. Our studio has also been in multiple places over the years, including office buildings and so forth. But eventually we finally had it in an office building that we ended up being able to own, thanks to the photography business, that we were able to actually purchase a building and have our photography business in there. Okay, a quick question for those of you on here live right now. Why did you become a pro photographer in the first place? A professional. That's the key. It should be pro photographer, not faux photographer. So you are not a fake photographer. You're not a faux photographer. You're a real photographer. It should be pro photographer. Why did you become a pro photographer in the first place? Type that into the questions box for us, and my dad will let me know what you type in as those come in, because this is the first question you have to ask yourself every day when you get up. You need to remind yourself of this. Ask yourself, why did I do this in the first place? And then follow that up with, am I enjoying it? Am I doing the things? Is the business running the way I'd like it to run? Am I working with the types of clientele I'd like to be working with? Am I still enjoying this? And if not, today is going to help you get back to that. So, Dad, has anyone typed in why they became a pro, not faux, photographer in the first place?
Todd, another Todd. I'll just read what he said. He said, I went full-time when I was fired from the Bank of America in 2001, sink or swim.
Yeah. So Todd, I have a follow-up question for you. Type it in if you feel comfortable. That's still not the why. So was the why because it was the only thing you could think of as a way to make money once you were no longer working at the bank? Why photography? There are a million ways you could go out there and make some money. Why photography? Any others that have typed in yet, Dad?
Peter, hello, Peter. Wanted to bring beautiful imagery, to bring joy to many, and to turn a hobby into a living. Right on, Peter.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. See, that's kind of what we're looking for, Todd. In addition to, because our business has to exist for two reasons. It exists for one reason, which has two parts. The reason your photography business exists, I learned this from my dad 30 plus years ago, 38, almost 40 years ago, is that your photographic business exists to give you the lifestyle you want and deserve. That's why it exists. Now, that comes down to two things, in my opinion, and that is the money that you need to make in order to feel secure, in order to be able to work with the types of clients you want to work with, to be able to work the hours you want to work or not work the hours you don't want to work, all that stuff. But the other reason is, what's the passion? If you can make your living doing something that you love to do, you never work a day in your life. There are aspects of it that you may not like as much, right? But those are necessary things to be able to do the thing we love. So that's a great reason there, Peter. I absolutely love that. And so is Todd's, a way to make a good living, a way to pay the bills. Absolutely. It's both. Fantastic. If any more type in, just let me know. We're going to keep moving on here. Literally, guys, 30 seconds each. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Tom, why did you become a professional photographer in the first place?
In high school and college, I was an amateur photographer. I never thought of it as a profession, but I always enjoyed people's reactions. When I'd show them a photograph, either of a landscape or of themselves, I dug how they reacted. It felt good to produce something that people enjoyed. So eventually that morphed into, hey, let's do this as a business. Long story, but that's my 30-second version.
I love it. Hey, you condensed it well. That's great. Dad, how about you?
Because I love it. I loved it. And I was studying to be an engineer, and I just started photography and played with it, and I loved it to a point where eventually no more engineer, yes, full-time professional photographer. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And the potential to make money as an engineer is pretty good. I mean, you got to be a good engineer, but there's potential for a great living there. You were already going down that path, and you discovered this thing that fueled a passion inside of you, and it became an incredible living for you and a way for you to pass these ideas and so forth on to other photographers, which, I know you wish there had been more of that when you got started a few years ago. There had been more of that, but there wasn't nearly as much as there is now. We're very fortunate. All right, the 4 sections we're going to be covering today, I'm just going to go over these very quickly. What marketing is working right now? That's going to be number 1, because the only marketing you should be doing is the marketing that's proven to work. Number 2 is the 2025 emergency photo cash generator. You want to generate some income quickly. We're going to give you some pointers on that. Number 3 is the 2025 sales system and how it works hand in hand with the proven marketing. Marketing and sales are not very separate. We tend to separate them and talk about them in different ways, but marketing is an extension of selling, and selling is an extension of marketing. They have to work hand in hand. And then, of course, the 4th section will be answering your questions. So a reminder, if you've got a question, get it typed into the questions box as soon as possible. We will get to those at the end of the event. So stick on all the way to the end, because somebody might ask a question that you would have been dying to hear the answer to, and it might be something we didn't even think to cover in this live event. All right, our objective today: at the end of this event, you will have a complete outline of exactly how to hit the ground running to grow and prosper in photography starting right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, but starting right now, regardless of inflation, regardless of the economy, regardless of the competition that's out there. But you have to commit to taking action on what you discover today. So my goal for you, I'm talking to you, not you two guys, you, yeah, you know who you are. I want you by the end of this event to have the next step that you're going to take already planned and ready to be taken. That's my goal for you. Now, will you make that pledge? Say I heard it. I heard everyone say it. You're gonna take the next step before this event is done, and know that you're going in the right direction. All right, let's start with section number 1. What are the 3 best marketing systems that are working right now? This is our first major section we're going to cover because that's the question you should be asking yourself. Dad, how important, if you had to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, no, let me rephrase that. If you had to put this on a list of the top 10 most important things in your photography business, what number would it be, with 1 being the best, 10 being the 10th best?
Probably 2.
Number 2, pretty high up the list. Yeah,
Makes you want to know what number 1 is, though, doesn't it?
it does. Are you going to tell us now, or are you going to make us wait?
No, I'll tell you right now, in my opinion, is you have to love what you do. Todd already said, if you love what you do, or something like this, if you love what you do, then you never work a day in your life. And so if you are not passionate, just absolutely adore photography and love working with people, and you can develop your friendliness and your kindness and your ability to relate to people, and you love creating images for them that they, like Tom said, he loves the reactions and responses to the images he creates. That's number 1. And then number 2 is definitely marketing, because if you don't market your photography business correctly, something very bad happens. And that something is nothing.
Yep. A vacuum is a horrible thing. Especially when it comes to, if you're one, we keep waiting by the door. When are they going to come in? When are the clients going to come in? When are they going to show up? And they don't. That's why. Marketing, number 2, just under your passion and your love. Let's talk about Facebook and social media. All right. I mentioned already that right early on, we're going to talk about something that you can start doing right now. And if you do it right, you do it well, and it's targeted to the right people, you can start getting booked clients in as little as a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, right? There are very few marketing things we can do in the world that have that kind of immediate response. So we're going to lead off with Facebook and social media. There are 5 key points about using social media effectively. We're all going to cover these together. I'll take number 1. The first aspect to using Facebook and social media properly are boosted posts. You should be doing boosted posts. Now, I'm going to very quickly mention what boosted posts are if you're not doing them or you don't know. Boosted posts are basically a post that you create on your social media, on your business page. You can't do this on your personal page, but on your business page on Facebook, you create a post just like you normally would. And then at the bottom of that, you've probably seen it before. There's a little thing that says boost post. And you click on that, and it allows you to invest a small amount of money. We are talking literally $5, $10, 15, maybe 20 like tops most of the time, that you invest to make sure that that message is reaching people who don't already know who you are. This is the question I get asked the most when it comes to social media. Hey, I don't have a lot of followers. I'm not on Facebook a lot. I don't have a lot of people that even know I'm here. That's why boosted posts exist. It's kind of like direct mail for the digital age. It's going to reach people who don't already know who you are and who live in your area, so you're not wasting money marketing to the entire world. You can put all of those specifics in when you're boosting the post. This is not an event about how to do the boosted posts. We've got lots of programs that are available for that you can check out, and that's great stuff. But boosted posts are very powerful. You want to be doing, at least in my opinion, 1 boosted post every 2 weeks, minimum, every 2 weeks or so. And it doesn't always have to be a sales post, by the way. It doesn't always have to be, that you got some special offer going on. But you should be doing boosted posts to reach people in your community that don't already know who you are. All right, we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, coming up here as well.
Number 2, please get this, please get this, the telephone. The single most important piece of equipment you own, more important than your computer, you can rent one of those, more important than your camera, have them bring their own. This is crucial, how you handle the telephone. What you want to have them do on those social media, number 1, boosted posts, what do you want them to do? What is your call to action? It's to pick up the phone and call you. You say, Chuck, you are so out of date. Good grief, we don't do telephone anymore. You've got to be kidding me. Well, you should be doing telephone because that's how you build your rapport. That's how you build the relationship. That's how you find out what they want so that you can help them to get it. You do not want them clicking on a link. No, no, no,
Right.
don't do that. And
Yeah,
then that's why it says in there, no links in post. No links. Phone
Right.
number.
So, and we're going to talk more about the telephone in a little bit. And the reason that you should be using the telephone is because guess what? That's what your target market's using. Whether you like it, believe it, trust that or not, that's what they're doing. And we're seeing a spike in people wanting to talk to humans on the telephone now, rather than just do everything automated and through websites and so forth. All right, number 3, Tom?
Emotions. Should I get my crying
Yes.
towel out? You know, there's two angles of this. One is people like to work with people whom they like. And then the other part of the emotional component is people invest in portraits for emotional reasons, at least the people that we'd like to work with who value what we do. So we need to take this cold medium, in this case, social media, and let our personalities come forth, appeal to the emotions and the persuasiveness of our copy that's within the body of what we are posting. So when people read it, they can relate. They're like, yeah, I have a family too, or yeah, I have an ailing parent, or I'm going to have a baby, or I'm going to get married, yay. All those emotions are very valuable. And that's why, relating to what Chuck said, you know, you're emotional on this cold medium, but when they call, they get to hear your emotions and you hear theirs. So that kind of works together. So we'll talk more about this, but making your copy, the body, the content of any of your marketing, including social media, emotional really goes a long way to letting people know that it's more than just, you're not going to, pardon my term, snap a picture and there, we're all done, get out of here.
I can't believe you said those words.
Well, I did it for effect.
Yes.
All right.
Gotcha.
So yeah, in my opinion, that should, if we were ranking them in order, that would be number 1, emotion. You have to have that first. If you don't have that, you're not speaking to your target market. So if you're looking back on your marketing and wonder why it's not working, ask yourself, was I emotional in it, or was I saying, hey, I'm running a special offer, and if you ever thought of having a photograph taken, now's the time, because you're going to get a whole bunch of photographs for 50% off, and that's all you did? That's why it didn't work. All right, number 4 is the 5-to-1 formula. This says that for every one message that you put out there that is designed to get the person viewing it to take the next step toward potentially working with you, for every one message that you do that way, you should be doing 4 or 5 other messages that are only designed to build emotional connection. Ties in with number 3 perfectly, right? So for every one that you do that gets them to take action, you should be doing 4 to 5 others that are just building emotion, because that's what this is about. It's about the longer game, even in social media. This doesn't take a huge amount of time to do, but as you build that, now people, when they see you put a message out there to get you to pick up the phone and call, now they've already got an emotional connection to you and what it is you do and what that's going to mean to their family over the next decade or 2 of their lives when they have those beautiful portraits in their home. Now they're much more ready to pick up that phone and take the next baby step toward working with you. We'll talk more in detail about that in just a little bit. Tom, number 5, the results. You are the results guy. You got to take this one.
Yeah, you know, although only social media will not totally fill your appointment calendar, it is huge. And the biggest thing that I love about it is, besides the immediacy of the results, is the return on investment. For such a minor investment, I've invested as little as $5 or $10 on a boosted post and gotten tens of thousands of dollars worth of gross print sales at our projection appointments due to that one ad or that one boosted post. So the return on investment is far higher than anything else that you can do. Plus, you can, as Todd mentioned earlier, you can do it quicker and faster. And see the results right away, and also be able to tweak them if you're not getting the results that you want. So Todd, I don't know if you want to get into any numbers here or.
Oh, do it. Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, well, you know, if you want to build a studio that's doing over $100,000 or more a year gross sales in portrait prints and weddings, social media can, in my opinion, and has for me, made up at least 50% of that in the years that I've been using Facebook, about 15 years. So over that 15-year track record, about 40 or 50% of my gross sales have come as a result of boosted posts. And Chuck talks a lot about getting famous in your community. One of the results of these Facebook posts is you get famous in your community, which is a really big part of it. When you go through the grocery line and you go to pay and they see your card and they say, Morelli, are you the photographer? That's when I knew I started, I've made it. Yay, they love me. They really love me. So as little as $5 or $10, the great thing too is if it doesn't work, you learn from that. And we'll talk more about what goes into these a little bit more here.
Yeah, we're going to jump into that right now. And those results are important. So Tom, as we've been talking again, over the last 10 years or so in your photography business, you've been consistently making between 80 and 100, sometimes even more, $1,000 per year, all in photography, working about 40 hours a week and not working weekends most of the time, at least. Is that correct?
Yeah, the only time I did the weekends, of course, was when we did weddings, and I photographed over 1,000 weddings. But eventually I got to the point in my business where the portrait business is so busy Monday through Friday, no nights, no weekends, that I started to taper off with the weddings. So I'm not saying don't do weddings. They can be a great way to market and sell your business, or promote your business, not sell. We don't sell. And yeah, and when I was doing the weddings, it was closer to 200,000. But as I tapered those off, as my portrait business went up, I cut back on those a bit. But yeah, there's money to be made even now. And the last thing I'll say on this as we move on in essence of time is that some people would say there's so many photographers now, it's harder than ever. And we have inflation. This is good news because they're not marketing. They're all sort of biting around, nibbling at the bottom feeding part of this business. You can really stand out more than ever with proper marketing and being in the marketplace and your target market seeing you like no one else is doing. So what you're going to hear today really appeals to that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. So what we're looking at now is I just wanted to call attention to a recent post that Tom has done here that showcases a lot of what we just spoke about. And then we're going to get into our Facebook posting formula. So be ready to write this down. It's a big one. But first, I wanted to take a look at this. So just reading from his post here. If you're a parent, your children are your life. That's the first sentence. Emotional? Damn straight it is to your target market. Because guess what? All right, spoiler alert here. If their children aren't their life, if their family is not the most important thing to them in the world, either A, they don't have a family, okay, which is fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Or B, if that's not number one to them, photography is going to be like number 10,073 on their list. Okay, we are appealing 100% every single time to people for whom their family is the most important thing to them in the world, including wedding photography. Because guess what? Weddings are about the expansion of a family. So make no mistake, you got to talk that way. And that gets the hook in there right away, the emotional hook. And I don't mean manipulation, because look at those photographs Tom has in that post. You can't look at those photographs and honestly say with a straight face that Tom's just doing this for the money. Tom cares about those clients. Look at the way he's photographing those children. He cares. He gives a darn, right? So when we say, if you're a parent, your children are your life, Tom is saying that because he understands it, because he's a parent. And this is why he became a photographer. And I'm guessing that each and every one of you on this event right now feel the same way on some level. And if you don't, you probably should be doing something else. This may not be the thing for you. Photograph other things. Photograph nature, photograph products, photograph space, do whatever you want, right? This is the core. And then it goes on to say, I mean, they are why we work so hard. Do you ever feel a little guilty like me sometimes that I work a lot? You just got them again. Every parent feels that way because guess what? They've got to work hard in order to provide for their family, which is their most important thing. So that's that horrible balance that we have to find in life, right? He's speaking on their level. And then he goes on to say, and time goes by so quickly. Time goes by so quickly. The hardest job that you have as a photographer is to get them to take action now, not wait. Not wait till next year. Oh, I'll wait till autumn when the leaves are more beautiful in Michigan, which is where we are, where my dad and I are. No. You got to do this now. This is important. Time is passing so quickly. I could go on and on about this post. You see it there. That is the magic of why Tom is getting 50% or more of his clients from this type of marketing. online. And guess what? His offline marketing is the exact same approach. And this is the stuff that you have to be doing. Okay, let's talk very quickly about the Facebook posting formula. Okay, this is a formula that Tom and we have been putting together for years, perfecting, working on, and the post you just saw uses every bit of this. That formula is TMP plus FH plus CTA minus CS equals BC and P. Now, there's some algebra for you. I guess there should be some numbers in there. If there were
Todd,
right?
Todd, I'd like to give people one clue. TMP does not stand for Thomas Morelli Photography.
That's good.
It does not. In fact, it stands for target market photos or target market photographs. Absolutely. Target market photographs. Photographs that appeal to your target market, i.e. they are emotionally driven. Plus FH, which stands for faux headlines. In that previous image or that previous post, you saw that in Facebook, as of now at least, we still can't do headlines that are bolded and large, right? Not in a boosted post. And we want these to look like posts. So you make them all caps, you put in extra characters to make them stand out on the page. Plus CTA, which stands for call to action. You have to have a call to action. Tell them in very clear terms what you feel they should do next. Don't assume they're just going to know. Don't assume, well, I guess if I wanted to talk to Tom, I guess I should look up his phone number. Let me look it up here. Let me Google him. Put it right in there. Say, call me right now, just to chat, no cost, no obligation. Minus, here's a minus, don't do controversial statements. Don't be controversial. Here's the thing. If you think this might be a negative to just about anyone out there, just don't say it. Don't say it. There are very few people that are going to look negatively on you talking emotionally about family, all right? And if they do, they are definitely not our clients, and that's okay. Yep. But don't get into politics. Don't get into religion. Don't say, just because it's such, everyone has different opinions in all those areas. So just stay away from controversial statements. Equals booked clients and profits. Both of those are important. Booked clients are important because you can't have the profits without them. And if you don't have the profits, you're not going to be around long enough to photograph more clients. So you got to have both. So there you go. TMP plus FH plus CTA minus CS equals B, C, and P. Dad, anything you want to quickly add about the importance of that Facebook posting formula?
Yeah, you've got to think like this every day. I know you love photography, so do I. But in order to earn a living, you've got to run your photography business like a business. And in order to run it like a business, you need a plan, because hard work and long hours alone will not produce success. I don't care how many hours you put into it and how much hard work you put into it. If you're working at the wrong stuff with your hard work, you're not going to have your business go where you want it to go. So you need a plan. And part of the plan is that formula. And every day you have to think about, what can I do? What can I do today to start getting people to become more excited about the potential of working with me, to seeing something that they would love to have for themselves, something that you created for another family, that they would love to have something like that themselves. Something, what can you do? The marketing, other than number one, which is your love for the passion for photography, marketing is number two. You got to do that or you have nothing else.
Right. Yeah. And I want to say too that, you know, when I started marketing in this business, what I immediately wanted more than anything else was to find the quick, easy solution. What is the quickest and easiest way and consistent way to market to bring in the right clients? Well, we found it, and it's connecting on an emotional level. Don't be afraid of that. Don't make the mistake of thinking, hey, I'm a business, so I've got to be professional and I got to talk business-like, and I got to be like, well, when you come to Charles Lewis Photography, you will be treated to the very best that photography has to offer. And you will see we have the best equipment money can buy. And we are in a gigantic build. Yeah, there you go. Falling asleep, right? But when you say, you know what, when you come, when I am your photographer, you are my fam. I'm going to treat you as if you were my family, because that's what this, I know what this stuff means to my family. I want to be sure that it means as much to you and your family as it does to mine. You talk like that, who's not going to want to work with you, right? It makes all the difference in the world. I can't say enough. And so the reason that I keep bringing that up is every single time I sit down to craft a marketing campaign, and a campaign is just any marketing message you put out there. That's what a campaign is, no matter how big or how small. A Facebook post is a marketing campaign. It's a single thing that exists on its own that's either helping to market your business or hurting your business. That's all there. Those are the only two options it has. So I always ask myself, is this connecting on an emotional level in some way with my target market client? Not the person that's looking for the cheapest photographer in town. That's not our target market, because we will never, under any circumstances, be the cheapest photographer in town. In fact, we will always be one of the more expensive, if not the most expensive in town. So I don't ever consider that. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with somebody that's looking for an inexpensive photographer. That is wonderful, and people have a budget, and that's important. And that's great, because there are thousands of photographers out there that can take care of that. It's just not us. So that's another thing you need to think of is think of where you position yourself in the market. Okay. I'm going to talk about something in a minute here where I might be able to help you do that, and maybe even help you craft a couple of marketing messages with that in mind for your business, and do it at no charge to you. So, but I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but that is so important to be able to do that and be able to do it consistently. Once you find that way, that you find that switch inside of you that you can flip, your marketing now almost goes on autopilot. It almost starts to take care of itself. So important. All right, Dad, we're going to move into section 2 here. I got to hand this one over to you, because you taught me 3 very important letters very early on in our photography business. And those 3 letters are VIP. And let me share my screen again here, because people have got to see this. What does VIP mean?
VIP means you're very important patrons. All right. They're patrons of yours. In other words, they're people who have worked with you in the past. We never call them past clients. They are very important patrons, because they're very important because they've worked with you before.
Right.
That means they know who you are. That means they value photography. They meet all the major marketing requirements. And most photographers make a terrible mistake by ignoring, if you will, their VIPs. And it's so important, so big. We're going to talk more about it in a minute. So we're going to skip over it right now for just a minute, and then we're going to come back to it.
Yeah, the reason that's here is it is one of the important steps of this whole system. And we're going to talk about it a little bit later, as you'll see why, because we're going to go really into depth. And again, most photographers call them VIPs, mistakenly call them past clients. Well, past means that's in the past. Worked with them in the past. No, once you work with a client, if you're doing things right, they become a client for life. We'll talk more about that here in just a few moments. All right. Next up is section 3. This is website design for bringing in photography clients, great qualified clients, 24 days a week. No, 24 hours a day. You know what? 24 days a week. You're going to be filling so much.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm going to give you 6 very quick key points that you can use as a checklist for your own website if you have one, or use as a checklist for creating your website. Number 1 is the use of headlines on your web page. Well, first of all, if you're going to have headlines, that must mean you're going to have words. So make sure you do not shy away from having words on your website. Your photography alone is not going to sell you. I'm sorry, I don't care how good your work is. You can be Ansel Adams, and you're not going to sell a single photograph if you don't have the words out there to connect as well. Ansel Adams, not a great example because he did mostly landscapes, but you get it. You get what I'm saying here. Headlines. Here's a great example of a headline for your website. Is your family the most important thing to you in the world? Are you watching your children grow and change almost before your eyes? Are you wishing you could stop time and hold on to this moment forever? Okay, that's a great headline. A great headline, because again, your target market client is going to read that and go, yep, you got me pegged. That is me 100%. Number 2 is emotion. We've talked about the importance of emotion. Here's some great example of emotional copy on your website to build that connection in addition to the quality of your work. An artistic master photographer understands lighting, understands posing, understands human psychology, and understands how all these things come together to create a portrait that transcends every day, to become something that you will cherish and admire every day of your life as emotional and meaningful art. Right? How many photographers talk like that, right? That's so important. Use emotion in the way you describe your work and what you do. Number 3 is a double readership path. You've got to use a double readership path. Some people that visit your website, because you're going to have words on there in addition to photographs, some people are going to read every word you put on there. Some are just going to skim. Oh, okay, yeah, well, there's a photograph. Oh, what's that say over there? Oh, what's that? And they're going to skim through it. A double readership path are small headlines, or called sometimes subheads, that happen throughout your copy, so that if somebody is skimming, they can get the majority of the message you want them to get just by reading those subheads. Here's a great example in blue. What makes my portrait so special to my clients? They see that and they go, oh, well, I'd like to know the answer to that one. And then they read a little bit more, right? It gets them enticed to read the copy that is under that. There's another nice little subhead, bonus subhead under that. So what is it about my portraiture that sets it apart from anyone else out there with a camera, right? Because that's what they're wondering. Why should I hire you? I got a great camera in my pocket. My phone's a great camera now, right? They've got to understand the difference. Photographs with testimonials. Do not have a photograph in your marketing and without an accompanying testimonial from your client. Don't worry if you don't have testimonials yet. Contact your clients and ask for one. If they loved what you did, they'll be happy to give you a testimonial. It's super easy. People are afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. The worst thing that can happen is they'll say, oh, I don't really feel like it. You're not going to lose them as a client. They'll, oh, no problem. I appreciate you. And if they're, you know, I hope you're having a great start to 2025, and you just move on from there. But hey, they're going to do one for you. They'll be happy to do that. Number 5, call to action. We talked about that. You got to have a specific call to action. Ours is call now, just to chat, no cost, no obligation, to take the first simple step toward having the portraits of your dreams created right now before you get busy and more time slips away. There are so many words in that run-on sentence that I could analyze for you why those are in there. Every word is crucial. So important how that's in there, all right? And then number 6 is SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. That's the other reason that the words are important on your web page, is because those words are searchable by Google, and it helps you come up further in search results on the search engines. So you want to make sure that when you're crafting the copy, you're crafting it in a way that also is using the words that you know people will be potentially searching on. All right, those are 6 very important key points for website design. I want to take just...
Before you go any further, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you because this is amazing. Now, I guess there's somebody on this event with the name Charles Lewis, unless I can be hacked or something, but this actually comes from Charles Lewis, not me.
Okay.
Listen to this. I believe your seminars usually emphasize family photography. That's correct. What about generating more wedding photography? Okay, we can talk at the end about this. This is a question we're going to answer. He says, I am finding more and more that clients' first interest is cost, cost, and wait for it, cost. We can tell them that we are like family until we are blue in the face, and all they mainly want is to know our pricing and will they receive their flash drive. I mean, this is good stuff. Right.
So do you want me to address that now?
No.
Or at the end? Okay.
I want everyone on this event to understand that the 3 of us are gonna, that is great stuff.
Okay.
Charles.
So
and
Charles,
at the end, he says, at the end, he does say, thank you for responding. He's not trying to be nasty. It's just the feelings that he has.
Okay, so let me take that over for just a second here. So Charles, yes, you are not being nasty. That is an incredible question, and one that everyone on here is going to want to hear the answer to, and it's one we dealt with too over the course of our existence.
That's
so
right.
Hang on, I already have the answer for you, and we're going to talk about it at the end of this event. Thank you for bringing that up. That's great. So important. So again, we're kind of at the halfway-ish point here, a little bit past the halfway point of this event. Please type into the questions box. Let us know, how are you feeling? Have you gotten a nugget of something where you're like, ooh, that I got to do? more emotion in my copy. I got to do boosted posts. I've got to use a double readership path. I got to have headlines in my stuff. Oh, testimonials with photographs. Yes, absolutely. I got to know why I became a photographer in the first place and remind myself of that. Whatever it is, type in, let us know in the questions box. Is this proving helpful to you already? Because this is the key to your 2025. Make no mistake, we're giving you that stuff right here and now. Section 2, the 2025 Emergency Photo Cash Generator.
Yeah, and what that is the VIP program. So now we're getting to the number 2. Remember, there was 1, 2, 3 most effective marketing. Well, this is it, VIP. Very crucial. No matter how many or how few clients you have with whom you have worked before, they are a gold mine sitting there in your backyard with a shovel on top of them, waiting for you to dig. That's how incredible this is. I cannot say enough about this. In fact, let's just skip over to Tom for a second. Tom, you said earlier on this event that you are extremely busy because you did this little thing. I think it was something to do with your baby plan, right?
Right.
And 1-year-olds, right?
Right.
Yeah. Who'd you send that to?
VIPs first.
That's right.
And of course, I have tons of methods: emails, Facebook messaging, phone calls, snail mail if I wanted to, although I didn't in that particular promotion. The VIPs get first crack at any offer, and especially with the baby plan, because those babies are growing. They keep coming back. It's like planting seeds. So that's a big part of it, yeah.
Right on. So anyway, let's talk 4 points real quickly. First of all, if you are starving, if you are scared to death, if you are desperate, if you really are concerned about what you're going to do, here it is January 9th, and you don't know where the next client's coming from, then the first thing you do is pick up your telephone and you call your best VIPs. Take a look at the list, whether it's 10 people, 50 people, 5,000 people, and pick out those who were the most profitable that you worked with and that were so kind and nice and appreciated what you did, loved your work. You know who they are. You can probably start thinking of them right off the top of your head because they're so wonderful to work with. And you pick up the phone and you call them. Talk to them. Tell them how much you enjoyed working with them in the past. Wish them a happy 2025 and just talk with them. Don't try to sell them anything. Just be kind, be considerate, and chat with them and let them chat with you. And you will have more money coming in right now than you ever thought possible. Once you get, the first 2 or 3 calls, you won't be real comfortable with.
Right.
But once you get going with, fantastic. Number 2 is emails. Of course, right, Todd? You talk about that because that's
so and that's why you're not going to try to sell them anything on the phone call. It's just making a connection. Then now you're going to have some people that when you talk to them are going to say, you know what, I'm glad you called because we were thinking of having another photo. Boom, now you're in. But for those who don't, then you're going to do some follow-up emails to those people, and you'll send some emails even to the people that you have not talked to already. We don't have time to talk in the detail about the emails, but again, you want to know what the most important word is in those emails. Emotion, that's the word you're hearing over and over again. So you're going to be reconnecting with them in that email. And then you will have maybe in one of those emails, if it's not the first one, it might be the second one that you send a week or so later, that'll have the, hey, by the way, I'm doing this special thing strictly for my VIPs like you. And you just lay out that offer and all of a sudden that phone is ringing. Number 3 is cards and notes. Do not underestimate under any circumstances the degree to which people value and appreciate getting something good in the mail, because that doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't happen anymore. People just ignore this. A handwritten card or note from you that is not just saying, happy birthday, don't forget about Tom Morelli Photography. No, it's just, hey, just wanted to wish you a happy new year. Tell you again how much I adored working with your family and creating those portraits for you, and I hope you have a great 2025. Something that simple. That goes a huge long way. And again, people will see that and go, oh, you know what? We got a graduating senior coming up. We were having a new baby, whatever it is, and all of a sudden they want to call you. Tom, how about offers?
Yeah, there's a million ways to offer something to your VIPs we usually voice it as look, as a way of saying thank you because you've been so faithful to us.
Right.
I know there's a lot of photographers around here. You've always come back to us. We love you. We love working with you and your children. Of course, your files have their names and birthdays and things, so you can refer to that if you want, so people know you're sincere. But I love making offers to people to fill in those areas because you can make them date specific. You got the first 3 months of the year to kind of slow. Hey, if we got something special just for people we love to work with, and if you come in between now and this date, we'll give you the creation fee is 50% off, or whatever you want to make for an offer that rewards them, because people like to know there must be a reason why are you doing this sale or this offer. And one of the reasons is we just love working with you. We want to get you back in here. You know, I miss you. And people will laugh. I've done that on the phone before, doing the chat. And I'll say, you know, I've been thinking about it. We'd love to have you come back in. Tell you what we're going to do, because we miss you. And they laugh. Well, we miss you too. You know, it's humanizing. So
Right.
make an offer to these VIPs that will make it worth it for them to go, well, you know, it's kind of cold out, but it'd be worth getting, you know, coming in to see you or having you come to our home, because we do both.
Nice. Yep. So important. And you don't underestimate the power of the people you've already worked with. Again, as my dad said, whether it's 5 people, 10 people, 50 people, or 5,000 people, they have extraordinary value. It is somewhere between 10 and 15 times easier to work with a client with whom you've already worked, and less expensive than it is to get a new client. Keep that in mind. And
Yeah.
Tom is a living example, as we are, of multi-generational families. When you get to be as knowledgeable in the industry as we are after years of doing it, then that's what you get, and you build that up over time. All right, Tom, let's talk gifts, plaques, and gift certificates.
Yeah, I raised thousands of dollars at Christmas time during the holidays with this. As far as doubling the value, we made several offers. I've done this many times over the years, for many years, where if someone comes in and invests $100, we'll double it, make the value be $200. Now, I've actually made that time specific again, which helps fill a certain spot in your year. If you're like, geez, March is so quiet, there's nothing going on. If you use this in March, it's worth double. Things like that. It just is a real attractive way to get somebody, because we're just trying to give them a reason to pick up that phone and call us. And really, that's, Chuck alluded to this. Your job really is, yeah, we want to take nice photographs. Your job is really, how do I get people to pick up the phone and be motivated enough to call me? It's kind of scary. That's one way that we do it. And usually that was done on social media or to our VIPs, but social media, it proved great. I had a graphic of a gift certificate, said we'll double the value, and people would call, and a lot of them used them as holiday gifts as well.
Very nice. Yep, absolutely. And again, these can be done to your VIPs, and I assume you can do this also during the holidays, you know, for a gift that they're giving to someone or something like that. You know, it'd be good for the person that's giving the gift, because then they know, hey, I'm going to be giving them a gift of, you know, X amount of dollars that can be invested, but I know that it's going to be able to be twice that. You know, it's a lovely bonus. And then doing these during multiple times of year, birthdays, anniversaries, obviously the holidays make a whole lot of sense, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and one of my personal favorites, the no special occasion. I don't know. I think people just really love the idea of, I got a gift just cuz, you know, or you might say, you know, you might be thinking, why am I, you know, doing this gift right now? It's not the holidays, it's not Valentine's Day, it's not the 4th of July, you know, it's because I wanted to take this moment to show you that I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the people that I have gotten to work with and be part of their life. Emotion, see, it's going back to emotion. I didn't say, well, because, you know, I want your business.
Yep.
That's why. Yeah, I value you as a customer. No, it's because I value being a part of your family's life and what we've been able to do. And I know that a life is this gigantic thing where it's always changing and evolving, and new beings are coming into your life. And you might have somebody like that right now, a new child, a new in-law, a new fiance, whatever it is that you want to commemorate with a beautiful portrait like the one we did of your family 3 years ago. Boom, there you go. That's what it's all about. So gift plaques, gift certificates, incredibly powerful. So Dad, I'm turning it over to you for section number 3, the 5-part 2025 sales system.
Number 1 was social media marketing. The most important, yeah, I already said this. I keep waiting. Well, they already know this. We already talked about it. The most important piece of equipment in your photography business right now is what? Your telephone. There's no question about it. Your telephone is the life or death of your business. And if it isn't the life or death of it, it should be, because it really is. You just don't believe that it is. I know you think it's old technology. No, it's not. We are in the people business. We are working with people for people to help them get what they want. We're not trying to sell people stuff and trick people and manipulate people. That's not what we're about. We're about helping them get what they want. And you do that by chatting with them and asking them questions and then listening to the answers. And that's where this whole thing about the telecharts come in. We've had so many people over the years that just adore these things. And this was because I was struggling. I couldn't make ends meet. And I went to see somebody who's not a photographer, Nito Quabain, terrific marketing guru, respected highly in the industry. And Nito made me realize that the way you find out what people want is you help them, you ask them. You just ask them. But you can't just say, well, what do you want? So he said, go back and come up with a whole list of questions that you could ask people who are thinking, they ask you how much it costs, right? Okay, and then what could you ask them to find out what they really want without being annoying or pushy or tricky? And so I went back to the studio and I sat down and said, okay, I'm going to put together these questions. Nothing.
So these telecharts are phone scripts where basically it has all the questions that you should ask, and you just check them off as you go. And boy, if they bring up something like this, oh, I'm going to ask them this question. And then it's got sections for how you close how you go about getting them to take the next baby step, how you're building the rapport and the relationship with them, how you close the call out, all of these things that photographers leave up to chance. Those are going to be answered in the sections of this telechart. Your first step should absolutely be craft these, because as soon as you put your marketing out there, that marketing is only the first step. It's the front line. Now you need to know how to turn those into book sessions. And if you're not turning at least 70%, 70 to 75% of the people that call you are turning into book sessions, then you need these telecharts horribly.
And it took me years to come up with these questions, and it breaks the phone call down into the 4 major steps. And then it has questions that you can ask them in each one of the 4 major phases of the call. It is one of the best things I have ever done in my entire career. I have no idea where my photography business would be if it wasn't for those telecharts. Thank you, Nito Quabain.
All right, so step number 3 is the design consultation power booking chat. So this is the next step. If the marketing is number 1, number 2 is the telephone, right? Turning them into getting them to take the next step toward booking with you. That is now going to be to get them to do a design consultation in-person chat, power booking chat. This is where you're going to meet. Oops, sorry. Let me go back to that. I hit the wrong button. Where you're going to meet with them one-on-one in person, and this is where you get them to book you, to hire you as their photographer. And there's a very specific way of doing this. Those of you that are members and have access on the Online Vault, there's an entire section of the Online Vault that walks you through exactly how to do this. But the thing that I want to pose to all of you, especially any of you that are not members of the Online Vault that have been invited to join us today, are you doing a design consultation chat, or do you try to do everything over the phone, or everything over worse, the website or email or text messaging? Because if you are, you're not going to get the number of your target market clients that you need. If you're trying to be the lowest price photographer in town, well, that's a way to continue to try to be a successful lower price photographer in town, but you're going to be now struggling to compete with every other lower price photographer in town to go for the lowest price. So you've got to do a design consultation, power booking in-person chat. That is the next baby step. Okay, that's what this is all about, getting them to take baby steps toward working with you. And then number 4 is the photographic session. done right for your target market. We can't not include the photographs. Photographs are important, but not just the photographs. The photographs are vital. You got to be able to take beautiful portraits, of course. But the photographic session itself is also important because you are connecting with them. You're working with them. And if that whole thing is stress, oh man, okay, come on, we got to move. I got another client coming and get it. Okay, no, sit down right there. Okay, smile, say cheese. You just destroyed your sales relationship with them. Your marketing, you built this relationship on emotion. Then when you're doing the photographic session, there better be emotion abound in that photographic session from you to them. Oh, this is incredible. These look so beautiful. Oh, now just move slightly to the right. Oh, that's beautiful. Now tilt your head. Oh, I can't wait for you to see these. These are so, don't show them.
Right.
Do not give them a preview. Don't give them a sneak preview. Tom might have a time when he breaks that and it works for him. Don't preview. But that's, you've got to have that connection. You've got to be building that connection. That happens through the photographic session as well. And then number 5 is the presentation of the images. The most important decision of your photographic career is how you present the images to your target market clients. Okay. When price is all they care about and it's got to be cheap, you don't do this. Why? Because all that matters is how cheap you are. That's all that matters. That's right. That's what they care about. And do I get them all on thumb drive, right? But if your target market, if you're getting your marketing in front of your target market, they care about much more than that. And that's why we present our images through projection in our photography space whenever possible. If you work out of your home, you can have them into your home and do it there. That's great. In fact, it works fantastically because you want the space to look like a home anyway. Or you go to their home and do it in their home if you don't have any other way to do it. And it works fantastically. We've worked with photographers over decades that do it all 3 of those ways. All 3 of them work incredibly. So that's the next thing for you to do is, and it's never been easier or less expensive to do this than it is today. Never in the history of projecting images has it been easier or cheaper than it is today. Buy a used projector on eBay. You've got a laptop already probably. And if you don't, get a cheap laptop that you can take out with you. Or if you're doing it on a desktop that stays where you are, then have them come to you. Super easy. And you don't need fancy software either. You can do this with PowerPoint. You literally can do this with PowerPoint. You probably can do it with Google Slides, which are free. It'll take a little bit of fudging, but you can do it. Super easy. All right, we could talk for hours just on the importance of the presentation, the images, but I want to make sure that we leave time for any questions that come in from our attendees as well. So before we do that, I just want to remind everyone, stick on here because we're going to be answering questions here in a moment, and I can guarantee you're going to want to hear the answer to the other Charles Lewis, which was a fantastic question. I need to know who this Charles Lewis is now.
I know it.
I need to know who this is because I promise you this did not come from my dad. It's fascinating. Nope. But there will probably be other questions you're going to want to hear the answers to as well. Dad, did we get any comments at any point about how they were feeling about the event when I asked that earlier? Did anyone type in anything?
Shola, I hope that's how he or she pronounces it, says this session is loaded with vital information. I'm excited all the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great.
Peter, thank you, Peter, says, reminded me that the VIPs are really important, exclamation point. Yeah, Peter, yeah. We've talked about that before, haven't we, Peter?
We sure have.
And Shirley says, if you're truly passionate about your business, you need to get with Todd for a consultation. He's been a wonderful help and encouragement for me and so many others. Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you.
Oh, Shirley, thank you. And to Shirley's credit, again, I said this at the beginning, she's on every event we do, and the occasional one she can't make, she watches the video recording, and she and I are talking every month because she's a member of our online vault. We're talking every month, and I look forward to that every single month as I do with other members as well. So
let's get to this Charles Lewis guy. Great name. That's a good name.
That is a strong name.
He said, I'm going to read it again because it's so good. I believe your seminars usually emphasize family photography, ... What about generating more wedding photography? ? I am
You don't have to
finding,
read, you don't have to read the punctuation. I think we get the gist of that.
I am finding more and more that clients' first interest is cost, all caps, cost, ... Cost and cost. We can tell them that we are, quote, like family until we are blue in the face. And all they mainly want to know is how our pricing will be, and will they receive their flash drive with all images. Where is the clientele that has more of a realistic budget? Thank you for responding. Well, excellent question, Charles. And Todd, I know you want to answer this, but let's let Tom start with this, Tom, because, you know, being photographers, you and I, we can really relate to what he just said. How would you respond to
And
that?
Dad, also keep your eye on how many questions we have and the time, so we know how long we have to answer each question, please.
We don't have very much
By
time.
the way, if Thomas Morelli and Todd Lewis check in, I'm out of here. Anyway,
All right, Tom, you got about what, 30 seconds to a minute at the most.
okay, you know, let's start with the telecharts and well, start with the marketing. You need a large supply of demand for your limited quantity. That means if 80% of the people go, I don't know, I just want a thumb drive, that doesn't matter, because you need some qualified prospects, little beyond what we're going to be able to talk about in 30 seconds, but you got to step up your wedding marketing. And Todd could help talk to you about that if you're not already a member. The telecharts have been invaluable because it has all the questions that will kind of fine tune those people for you, but that's not going to book the wedding. You need to have them come in and sit down. There's whole programs that I found extremely valuable when I was talking to people about booking weddings, and I'm talking $3,500 to $10,000 wedding packages or collections. I'm not talking about $200 or $300 ones. And so I never dreamed I'd be charging that, but I was, and getting it because of the telecharts on weddings, and then the way that we handle the design consultation for a wedding is superb. And if people drop off, they weren't going to be good clients anyway. So that's my compact answer. I'll hand it off now.
Thank you very much. And my quick comment
Very
to his
quickly.
question is, it's all about building the relationship with the people. Yes, you're going to have, like Tom said, it's the 80-20 law. 80% of them are not going to be interested. They just want the price and the flash drive, and that's not who we want to work with. That is not our target market. So what you're looking for is, out of all of these different people, like Tom said, create a huge demand for your limited supply, and then control the volume of work you do with the price. You're going to be finding, out of those 100% people, 20% of them are going to have an interest other than just the price. There's some reason that's driving them, something that's important to them, somebody they talked with that loves something that you did for them, and they want that done for themselves. You cannot say that that's one of the most dangerous words in the English language. Don't say they only care about price. That is not true. Your attitude is in the wrong place, and I don't blame you at all, because I felt the same way when I was first starting out. There are good people out there who care about what you do and are willing to invest good money for what you do. Those are the people you want to work with. And you find out with emotional marketing, and then asking them the right questions on the telephone.
Sorry, Dad, I got to cut you off because you said we have a bunch of questions and I said we would get to them all. So go for it.
No, it's okay. I understand. The other question that's really, really good here, other than Facebook, what other marketing do you feel is very effective right now? That's the gist.
So number one, so other than Facebook, displays and exhibits are number one. Absolutely. Your website, very, very important. Joint ventures and endorsed mailings with other people, other businesses in your community with whom you have relationships. Those are the top three. There you go.
Yep. And
Hey,
exhibits.
Dad, next question.
That's basically there's a whole bunch of wonderful comments in here that I would love to read. They're very kind.
Yeah, go ahead
Thank
and
you
read
so
a
much.
couple of them, please.
There's so many of them. Peter He says, many thanks, Todd. All the best for this year. Apologies, but I have to go now.
Hey,
So-
no worries. Well, bye, Peter. He's already gone. Okay. It was great having
Yeah.
him on. Next,
Yeah.
what's another one you want to read?
It was just very kind of him.
Todd, while Chuck's looking, if I could say something real quickly to the other part of the marketing, if you're suspended from social media, you can go to Instagram, might be able to do that, but also auctions and charities done properly, fill
Yes.
my book. Also, I have model programs where we do model calls, not for fashion models, but for high school seniors, which right now we're starting, or for babies. That gets my baby plan rolling for people that haven't been here before. So model calls and auction and charities are two of the other legs on the table that we use for marketing.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's very important. Dad, did you find any other questions? Because I want to make sure we answer all the questions that have come in.
No, we must have been
Okay.
really clear, because
Fantastic.
I don't see
right.
very many questions at all. I think we've covered everyone that came in.
Okay. Tom and Dad, very nice. All right. So everyone, thank you so much for being here and thank you for the messages that have come in. My dad was looking for another one to read, but he must not have been able to find the one he wanted to read. So I will be looking at all of those after the event is done. Really appreciate you sending those in. That means a great deal. And then Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you and my dad, literally 30 seconds each. That's all you get. I'm going to have to cut you off because we've all got things we've got to do next and we're already running a bit over, but I want to thank everyone for being here. I'll have the final word. Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for this opportunity, folks. I know I see photographers struggling everywhere right now that have no idea where to turn or what to do. We've got the answers here because we've all lived it. We've been around long enough, as you could tell, that we've used things that work and still work because human psychology has remained the same over the centuries. So learn this, and we're here to help you. Other than that, have a happy and successful 2025.
And I want to say thank you for being here. We hope that you got a lot out of this. And more importantly than that, we hope that you take action. You've got to take action. One of the things that so impresses me about Tom is when he gets this idea, when we talk with him about something, he just goes and does it. He does it. He takes action. If it doesn't work exactly where you wanted to, he'll make a little tweak here and there. He makes things work. He gets things done. You have to invest a great deal of effort to have a successful business of any kind in this world. And photography is no exception. And it is the finest profession in the world. Where else can you get to work with people under happy circumstances? If they don't love each other, they're not going to have a family portrait created, right? It's a wonderful business to be in. I dearly love it. And I know Tom does too. And Todd loves what we do, but also loves the marketing. So thank you for being here today, and we'll talk to you again real soon, hopefully.
All right. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. It's our honor to be here. Remember what the goal was for today. Our goal was to give you an outline, to give you the things to think about, the things to start working on right away for your best 2025. I believe that we've done that, and I hope you feel that as well. Now it's on you. And the goal was, by the time this event is done, to have your next step written down and ready and planned to do. Do you have that? If you don't, are you going to do it right now? And if not, why are you here today? I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but you've got to keep this momentum going. Otherwise, guess what? Life happens and everything goes back to the way it was. That's why 95% of New Year's resolutions never amount to anything, because life goes back to the way it was. You have to break free of the gravity of 2024 to launch yourself into the stratosphere of 2025. Have a great rest of 2025, everyone. It was great talking to you, and we'll catch you on the next event. Bye, all.
Bye-bye.